on how to categorize quadrilaterals. Now, before we jump into different quadrilaterals and how we classify them, I want to briefly refresh on polygons and how we classify polygons. There are 3 rules for polygons. They're listed here. The first rule is that it has to have straight lines, so no curves. The second rule is it has to be a closed shape, so there are no open angles like there is over here. And the last rule is that it's a 2D shape rather than a 3D shape. So pretty straightforward, something to keep in mind as we continue through the lesson. So when we talk about quadrilaterals, there's a lot of different shapes that can be classified as a quadrilateral and a lot that cannot. The way I like to think of this is that these shapes are pretty exclusive. And when I think of being exclusive, I think of friend groups, and I think of parties, and I think of some people being invited and some people not being invited. It's just kind of a fun way for me to remember what shape goes where. So something I like to tell my 5th graders is that we focus on a polygon party. And there are different levels to this party. So we have a polygon lawn, quadrilaterals is kind of our base layer of this house, and then parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and square. So we're going to look at all of these shapes over here, and we're going to decide what part of the party they are allowed to come into, or even if they're invited to the party. So for example, if we look up here to this moon shape, in order for it to get on the polygon lawn, it needs to be closed and 2D, which it is, but it also has to have straight lines. So since this does not have straight lines, it is not allowed to come to the party. So it has to go right back. Similarly, this circle, also closed, also 2D, but is made of curved lines, so is not allowed to enter the party, unfortunately. Was not even invited. If we look over here, it's going to be the same thing with this star. This star is closed, it is 2D, it does have all straight lines, but it doesn't really classify into any of these other categories. So the star can hang out on the lawn, but he can't go inside the house. If we look at this shape over here, it looks like a little U shape. It has straight lines, it is flat, but it's not closed. It has this open angle, so unfortunately, he is also not allowed to hang out on the lawn. He is not invited to the party. If we look at this triangle, we know that a triangle, it has straight lines, it has 3 angles, it's flat, and it's a 2D shape. So it is more than welcome to hang out on the polygon lawn. However, it may not enter the house. In order to enter the house, you need to be a quadrilateral. That is the classification. That is the requirement for this party. So if you don't have 4 sides, 4 angles, or 4 vertices, you can't come in. So unfortunately, he has to hang out on the lawn as well. Now, as we classify through these different rooms, some shapes might be able to go to multiple rooms, and some shapes might only be able to go to 1 room. So, for example, this star and this triangle will not be able to enter the house, but as we go through, there might be more shapes that can go in other places. So, let's take this trapezoid, for example. It is a closed, 2D, straight-lined shape. So, it can go on the lawn, and it does have 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices, so it can be classified as a quadrilateral. However, when it tries to enter into the parallelogram room, it fails. The rule for a parallelogram room, or in order to get into this club, is that it has 2 pairs of parallel lines. The trapezoid only has 1 pair of parallel lines, so unfortunately this is as far as he can go into the party. So he can be classified as a trapezoid, a polygon, and a quadrilateral, but no further. If we take this other parallelogram, it is a polygon. We know it does have closed lines. It's closed lines, straight lines, and it is 2D shaped, so it can enter here. It can hang out on the lawn. It is a quadrilateral, 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices, so it can enter here, and its namesake is parallelogram, so it can enter the parallelogram club. So really, this can be classified as a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, or a polygon. I'm going to put him here. He can't go any further because he doesn't have equal sides and he doesn't have 4 right angles. So he's going to hang out there. The next shape I'm going to look at is our rhombus shape. Now, a rhombus can be classified as a polygon. It's flat, it's 2D, it's closed, and it has straight lines. It is a quadrilateral. It has 4 separate sides, 4 separate angles, and 4 vertices. It does have 2 pairs of parallel sides. Now, parallel sides means that these 2 lines or these 2 sides will never intersect, which is the case for this rhombus and this parallelogram. Now, this rhombus can enter the rhombus club. The rhombus club means that it has 4 equal sides, but he can't go any further because the next room is 4 right angles, and he doesn't have that. So he's welcome to be classified as a rhombus, a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, and a polygon, but he cannot go any further into the party. But he can still go into quite a few rooms. Let's take this kite, for example. We know it's a polygon, it's closed, it is 2D, it has straight lines, it also has 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices, so congrats, he is a quadrilateral. In terms of parallelograms, the kite doesn't really have 2 pairs of parallel sides. At least this one in particular, it's not a perfect kite, so in this case, this is the furthest he can go. Let's look at our rectangle. Now, some of these have names that are parts of the party, so it's kind of a given where he's going to go. We know he's a polygon, we know he's a quadrilateral, he is a parallelogram, he is a rectangle, but he cannot be a rhombus. So these upper rooms are kind of interesting because this rectangle can go into any of these rooms, but he can't go, oops, where did he go? He can't go into the rhombus because his sides aren't equal. So this rectangle can be classified as a rectangle, a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, or a polygon. Now, last but definitely not least is our square. Now, this is what I like to call the VIP, the very important person, or in this case, very important polygon. So we know he's a polygon. Obviously, he can be classified as a quadrilateral. 4 sides, 4 angles, 4 vertices. He has 2 pairs of parallel sides. He has 4 equal sides, so he can also be a rhombus. He also has 4 right angles. And he classifies as a square. He has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. So he can go anywhere in the party. Maybe he's hosting this party. Maybe he's the coolest person at the party. But a square can be classified as any of these shapes. So when you're thinking about classifying shapes, think about all the different rules and how exclusive these shapes are. And maybe think of a party to help you remember.